Cape Breton has a special magic to it.
This is strange. This is a strange place to be.
If you find any gold, let me know.
I've got us a little behind-the-scenes look at what most people don't get to see.
It must be such a weird thing to have your, like, the boat you're on be sinking while you're so close to land.
So big chunks would rain down like that?
It legit feels like it's Area 51.
Sarah, Jen, April, and I are headed back to Cape Breton for an adventure of diving with Harvey. Oh, look, there's April. April! Hey! Hello!
Hi, April.
Where are we going?
Where are you going?
I love driving up to Cape Breton.
Yeehaw!
It is one of the most beautiful drives that we have here in Nova Scotia. All the mountains, beautiful lakeside ocean views. It is just an extremely scenic drive. So I love our annual trips.
I love Cape Breton. All right, let's roll. Roll it.
Roll out.
Bye. I love it so much. You know, when you're driving there and the scenery is just so beautiful and picturesque, but then you get to the causeway, the Kansas Causeway, and there's that big green thing that says, "Welcome to Cape Breton."
The drive to Cape Breton is the longest drive really anyone does in Nova Scotia. We're a pretty small province, and by now, as scuba divers, we've explored pretty much every small little corner of the province. That smells good. Maybe they're smoking mackerel or something.
Oh my gosh, if there's smoked mackerel, we gotta stop and get some. Oh my goodness gracious.
Num, 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 num. Num in my tummy. So we had gone to Cape Breton last summer, and that was our first time diving with Harvey, and we had the most spectacular weekend. We got a really good introduction into the beautiful dive sites in Cape Breton.
On our adventure last year, we actually went to Iona and we dove the Grand Narrows, and then we also dove Gooseberry. These are two places that, as a normal diver, not knowing the area, I want somebody that's experienced.
It's always really great to go with someone who's experienced up to Cape Breton. Whenever we're going to new dive sites, it's really great to know someone and to be with someone who's more familiar with the sites than we are. So Harvey showed us 2 wrecks last year, and it was such a fun time that we wanted to go back again this year.
Harvey is a good friend of ours up in Louisbourg. He has a dive shop up there, Louisbourg Scuba Services. So he'll take us out diving and show us around Cape Breton.
Harvey is the dive guy to go to in Cape Breton. He knows everything about diving up there, and he is super experienced, so is able to do a little bit of scientific work and surveying work in order to know precisely where the shipwrecks are and to sort of maintain them.
I started diving in 1991. I was certified. Mainly got into it to basically get over an unease around the water. I seem to have done that, so I'm pretty happy with that. Then I quickly fell in love with shipwreck diving. So yeah, so invited Alana, Jen, Sarah, and April up to Cape Breton to take the opportunity to dive some very special historic shipwrecks in Louisbourg Harbor.
So Louisbourg is a very small town in Cape Breton. It's super cute. It's like a postcard kind of town. It's like one street, and that's where everything is. I think there's 2 restaurants there, so there's not a ton to do, but it's gorgeous. The Fortress is right there at the point that you can see. I had been to the Fortress of Louisbourg as a kid, but it'd been a few years since I had been there.
It seemed that the Fortress was the main attraction, and other than that, it is quite small.
So Louisbourg is a tiny fishing village with a population of about 800 people. Very, very quiet. It's a place where everybody knows everybody pretty much. Everybody looks out for everybody, but there's a lot of history in and around Louisbourg that especially underwater, that a lot of people probably aren't too familiar with. You know, we do have the Fortress of Louisbourg, which is the largest historically accurate recreation in North America, and in its present state, it's still only 1/5 the original size. But in the harbor and around the harbor, there's over 25 documented shipwrecks. 12 of those I know of are from the second siege of the fortress in 1758.
It actually used to be one of the major hubs where there was a lot of shipbuilding, and it actually is one of the only once colonial major towns that was not built into a modern city. So it's quite interesting to imagine that if history worked out a little bit differently, then maybe Louisbourg would be the Halifax of Nova Scotia. So we made our way up to Louisbourg after our long road trip from Halifax, and we headed right to Harvey's dive shop.
This is where Louisbourg Scuba is. So there's some really cool stuff in Harvey's shop that we saw last year when we were here. And we decided to come in and take another little peek, see if he has anything new, anything exciting.
Nice to be back at Louisbourg Scuba.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey, Harvey.
Howdy.
Wow, good to be back, Harvey.
It's tiny, not much has changed.
I miss this place. Oh, that's beautiful.
So they came to Louisbourg and they met me at my little shop, kind of a one-man band. Definitely the smallest shop in the Maritimes, that's for sure.
Harvey has a really cool home dive shop. We like to call him Humble Harvey because he likes to downplay how sweet this shop really is. In his garage in his backyard is this small shop, but you walk in, and from outside it doesn't really look like much, but you walk in and your eyes don't even know where to look because there's so many good things posted on the walls all over. There's cool BCDs and masks, and there's even a compressor to fill air tanks in the back.
He's very humble, so he always thinks that it's not quite anything, but you walk in and it's almost like you're in Torpedo Race.
I think this is the one I want.
I think I like this chair.
We hear you can take us diving.
We hear you know a guy, or we hear you are a guy.
I don't know about being the guy, but I know a spot or two. I've been around.
You're the people who knows people.
Yeah, so we met at the dive shop, and while we were there, discussed, and I was going to surprise him totally with it, but I've reached out, made a few phone calls, talked to a few folks, and I've got us a little behind-the-scenes look at what most people don't get to see. So, I've reached out, made a few phone calls, talked to a few folks, and I've got us a little behind-the-scenes look at what most people don't get to see. We're going to be going diving the sled, right?
Amazing. Thanks, Harvey.
The Celeb is the oldest wreck that I'll ever dive. It's right outside of the fortress, which is really cool.
Thank you for setting this up.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. It's my pleasure.
We're gonna have a day of learning.
So there's a few shipwrecks in the harbor of Louisbourg, but the particular shipwreck that Harvey got us access to dive was called the Celeb. And basically, this shipwreck was built in Brest in France, and it was anchored with two other ships right in front of the fortress at the time in the harbor of Louisbourg, and it went down during the siege of Louisbourg in 1758 because the British shot it down with some cannons. It caught one of the masts on the Celeb, and the fire spread so quickly that it spread to the other two ships that the Celeb was anchored next to, and unfortunately they all went down, I think, very quickly. And I think eyewitness accounts and historical archives of that time describe it as being a very significant event where, can you imagine, three massive ships, like the Celeb was 150-ish feet long, just engulfed in flames and going down. And I think this really kind of set the pace for the subsequent siege of Louisbourg, and the French had to surrender the fortress, and I think a few days after that. So this event was very historically significant.
So this is something that's not really open to the public. This is something extra.
We're very excited.
More or less, yeah, more or less.
So spoiled by Harvey.
Yeah,
You are.
That's that.
Good to know good people.
So the cool thing with diving in the harbor of Louisbourg is that not just anybody can get to dive there. And Harvey luckily enough, does a lot of work for Parks Canada. So he actually clears some of the kelp off of the shipwrecks for them, make sure that they're still intact, does like surveys on them. So we were really, really lucky and privileged and honored to dive this one with Harvey.
After Harvey gave us a briefing of what we were going to get up to that day, it really was a natural start to go and check out the fortress. This is my first time at the Fortress.
I do the same thing.
It's my third time.
It's very beautiful.
Look at that.
So we saw all these old buildings of the time. We saw these characters who were dressed up like people. We were hanging out with these women. They had these giant skirts on. I don't know what they're called, but it made their hips really wide. And apparently that was the thing to do. But we hung out with those people and got our photo taken.
All right, I'm in the hip.
I feel very masculine.
Going and seeing the Fortress of Louisbourg was like going back in time.
They accentuate your hips. Yeah.
It was really cool to see the structures and the architecture and everything as it was back in the 1700s. And there were even people dressed up in really pretty old dresses that we got to hang out with.
Which shipwreck are you guys looking at?
So are there things that are maybe on the shipwreck of yours that we should look for?
All French. If you find any gold, let me know.
Ah, I like that. Very well done.
Or maybe a pearl or two, just something more to decorate myself.
Okay, okay.
So good.
Thank you. Take care. Well, I want to wear a dress like that now.
If I'm wearing a dress like that, let me tell you, I'm going this way.
Well, there's your door, Jen.
The guide, she was so lovely. She took us up to show us the best viewing point in all of the fortress.
This is a VIP tour.
Literally. Are these realistically heavy?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a real weight up the door, Atlanta.
All right.
Look at these cannons. A cannon. I'm going to a cannon and to one of the best views in the fortress. So when we were actually climbing up there, you can see like the whole land, the scenery.
Cool.
So yeah, it is the best view. Sorry.
Oh, yes. Honestly, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. You guys are missing out. The best views up here. All of us.
We're making our way.
When we were talking about the plan with Harvey at his shop, he mentioned that we should look out for a little orange buoy in the distance, right across from some of the cannons and the lookoff points in the fortress. So when we were at this lookoff point, we looked into the harbor and we searched really hard, and we did find an orange buoy.
Yeah, it must be somewhere out here. Because when the boat was hit by the Brits, they launched their cannons from Lighthouse Point over there, which is quite a ways. And at the time, the Celeb was anchored just offshore from the fortress here. So it must be such a weird thing to have your, like, the boat you're on be sinking while you're so close to land, like you're almost safe, but just not quite close enough.
So we're standing up at the fortress, we're looking out over the Louisbourg harbor, and from there we could see the buoy that marks the Celeb. So we could tell right where we were gonna dive, and it wasn't all that far from the fortress, so it was pretty neat.
It was kind of cool to stand within the fortress and be like, hey, we're about to go diving over there.
Crazy. Harvey freaking nailed this trip for us.
Is that real?
Yeah.
The fact that he was like actually went out and got us the permit to dive this, I don't even know what to say. There's no words to describe like how honored we are and privileged and grateful to Harvey for this. Like there's no words besides those ones I just said.
To speak to Harvey's kindness, he actually spent a week prior. So he spent 40 hours on the shipwreck just preparing it for us to dive. because these shipwrecks, there's a lot of kelp that grows in the harbor in Louisbourg. He said sometimes when he goes to the shipwreck after not being there a while, it takes him a while to even find it. And he has 500 dives on the shipwreck because it is just covered in kelp. And so it required him to go down and spend 40 hours just cleaning up all the kelp.
It is a World Heritage Site, so for Parks Canada, what I tend to do is keep an eye on the wrecks and do a monitoring program on them. So I'll go in every year and spend some time clearing the year of growth of kelp. Clearing the kelp off the site, it allows me to be able to actually see what's there. You could swim over that site for a half hour and you may or may not know that you're ever on a shipwreck. There's that much kelp there, it would just be like, you know, trying to look at the dirt underneath a lawn. And unless you remove all the grass, you're not going to see any dirt.
So as Harvey was telling us all about the celeb and what we were going to be diving, he let us know that he had a little surprise for us.
So after we leave the fortress, Harvey's like, follow me. So we're like, okay, let's follow Harvey. He's responsible. So away we go, driving, and we're just going, and it's like dirt road.
Yeah, I was interested to know what Harvey had up his sleeve. He's an interesting character, so I wasn't quite sure what this surprise would be, but turned out to be a good one. So yeah, after we finished walking around the fortress, Harvey said, okay, it's time for the surprise.
Harvey said that he has a surprise, and when Harvey has a surprise, that means it's something big. He's very planned and like professional and structured, and if he has a surprise, it's gonna be a good surprise.
So we jump back in the vehicles, we're following Harvey. We turn down this long dirt road. There's like barbed wired fences. We're wondering, where on earth is Harvey taking us?
We obviously trust Harvey very much because we literally did follow him out into the middle of nowhere.
Where is he actually taking us?
We roll up to this like just kind of randomly placed building on the top of this road, and there's fences everywhere and barbed wire, and it felt like we were going to like a prison or something.
We saw a lot of fences, a lot of kind of red tape and signs saying, do not enter.
This is strange. This is a strange place to be. It legit feels like it's Area 51. Like, I feel like I'm here to look for a UFO again. Are we going beaming up, Scotty? Like, what's happening here? We were greeted by these three lovely ladies. They were amazing. And we're greeted by them, and they're like, hello! Welcome to the Louisbourg Archives.
Welcome to the Fortress of Louisbourg. Here in this building, we house our archaeology collection. So all of the things that Mallory digs out of the ground. I'm Alanis, I'm the collection specialist here, so I take care of all of the objects.
Harvey had gotten us like a VIP pass and had taken us so we could actually go see the archives and the artifacts and everything that was found from these shipwrecks and from this fortress.
So there's about 5.5 million objects in our collection.
Stop it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are so busy.
Very busy, yeah.
And all of them are from Louisbourg?
Yeah.
I had arranged for a behind-the-scenes look at the archives, and that's a place that not many people get to go. So for me, it was pretty special to be able to show those ladies those things. And there's millions of artifacts there that most people just don't get to see because you can't display millions and millions of artifacts.
The historian took us on a tour through the archives, and in the archives, they have over 5 million artifacts, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah, everything that we're seeing here, this is real stuff that was taken out of the ground.
For me, being the treasure hunter, I was like, I want to see every single drawer. I want to see every single thing. I want to take pictures because this is like a puzzle now, and I want to put this puzzle together.
Saw all kinds of bottles. We saw what they thought was a pair of socks, which was kind of funny because it looked just like socks that we wear today. We saw some pottery, plates, different things like that. So there was all kinds of neat stuff in there. And one thing I thought is when we go treasure hunting around here, some of the little pieces of pottery and such look so similar to what we find.
So these actually are ice creepers. So they would have strapped to the bottom of a boot and
Like a crampon?
Yeah, crampon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and especially on those fortification walls, they're quite tall. You don't want to be slipping off them in the winter time. A really cool thing with Louisbourg is that, so when you go on site in the houses, all of the things that you see there are reproductions that are taken from the archaeology collection. So you can see on this table. So any plates, mugs, that sort of things, they are replicas based off of the things found in our collection, even down to the hinges on the doors, the nails that are used to hold everything together, all period accurate.
My favorite thing was probably the sword. She pulls it open and it's a sword and it's about this long, probably like 1.5 feet. And it had like the hilt on it, it had like the whole pointy sword part, the handle. And I just wanted to take it and be like, Unga! But I didn't do it, but I wanted to.
So cool.
Oh my gosh, what do we have? Wow.
And it has the original plug. When they found it, it was still plugged and filled with black powder. So then they unplugged it, cleaned all the black powder out, and now it's here.
That's cool. No black powder?
No black powder.
Can I touch it?
Yep, absolutely.
I'll look in it.
So it's a mortar bomb.
So this would blow up?
Yeah, so the cannonballs would puncture things essentially, and then the mortar bomb would blow up.
Something like that is what would have hit the sled, made it catch fire, and go boom.
Wow.
Imagine getting hit in the head with that.
So big chunks would rain down like that?
It's like my kettlebell. I work out.
Oh my God.
And that's just a small piece.
So right as we're wrapping up our tour of the archives, Harvey points out that there's a map of the slab on the wall. So we all kind of got to get this look at the wreck before we got to dive it.
That gave Harvey the opportunity to give us a little briefing and an overview of what that shipwreck was going to look like and kind of orient us to where we were going to be descending on the mooring line and how we were going to go about planning our dives.
He was able to point out all of the cannons and the structures that were on this boat. And I asked him, I said, how many cannons are there? He was like, 33. I was like, how do you know? Like, he's like, I've counted them. So I was like, of course you have.
Okay, so what we're going to go dive today is the sled. So this is a beautiful map version of it. Each one of these squares is 2 meters by 2 meters. The first dive, we'll just do a quick overview of the site. So we'll just kind of swim from the west to the east, staying several feet above the wreck. Make our way to the stern. I'll point out some artifacts on the way.
Cool. Wow. Oh, I'm so excited to go diving. Yeah, this looks like a sweet wreck.
So you guys want to see the anchors and cannons?
Let's go. We're going to see the cannons.
And of course, the artifacts that we were the most excited to see were some of the cannons that were collected from these shipwrecks in the Louisbourg harbor. And there was a few anchors, and they actually had to be stored outside because they must weigh a few tons. It's just full, like 10 feet long of just like iron.
And the anchors are just huge. You know, back in the day, they made those things big.
Well, that's the biggest anchor I ever did see. Well, I'm 5 foot long. And how many of me is this? They're bigger than the ones down the Halifax Harbor waterfront. And I was like, this anchor is huge. I tried laying down next to it. It's 3 of me. So that's a 15-foot anchor.
This is the anchor from the celeb. If you look closely, though, it's half broken off on the bottom.
Wow. I bet you we won't find it down there then.
Yeah, I guess not. Maybe the other half.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find the other half.
Well.
I love it. I was dying to get underwater after seeing all of this stuff in real life. So I've seen the artifacts, I've seen the cannons, I've seen the anchors, I've seen the plans for this wreck. Get me in the freaking water. Let's go.